We are looking at a multi-fuel stove made by a company called Brightlight. Brightlight manufactures stoves and lanterns. Most likely they're known for their lanterns, which is known by the name of Petromax multi-fuel lanterns. In this particular case, this is a multi-fuel stove. It'll burn flammable substances, things like gasoline, naphtha, charcoal lighter, Coleman fuel, kerosene, diesel, even paint thinner if you wanted to. I wouldn't recommend that though. Personally, I like to use oil-based fuels such as charcoal lighter, kerosene, or diesel, simply because their energy content per liter is much higher and their flash point is also much higher. So that means that it's less explosive to carry when you go on a camping trip. Diesel fuel does not explode like gasoline does, but it's a little bit harder to light. In this particular instance, this stove is filled with diesel, untaxed diesel. It's the red diesel, higher sulfur content. I'd also recommend, if you're using diesel, use something like ultra low sulfur diesel, which has a little bit less of a smell. Either way, it's a very, very hot burning fuel, but it's also a little bit interesting to light. It takes a little more caution and care in terms of what you do. The steps are fairly easy. What you have is a pump over here. You have a valve which allows the fuel to flow. Over here is an atomizer. This atomizer will heat the generator tube, which delivers the fuel into this bottom area down here, which then the gas fuel will come out here. So when the fuel goes through at a very high temperature, it vaporizes and comes out and burns outside on this lip here. The other side is the fuel cap. This is where we fill up with fuel. It has a pressure valve on it. We can take a look at some detail on that. There's our pressure valve showing 1, 2, and 3 kilograms per square centimeter. Here's the valve. Mine's set for 12 o'clock position to be shut. You switch it downward to open it and start the flow of fuel. And then over here is an atomizer. Now this atomizer, when you flip this down, will spray fuel onto this area right here, which will heat it up to a very high temperature. Heating up to a very high temperature is important because this fuel is a very heavy fuel. Diesel doesn't just ignite when you light it. You actually need to vaporize it. So that's why we have to preheat this unit. With gasoline fuels and the more flammable fuels, you have a less burn time for this preheat. Kerosene and diesel have a longer burn time for preheat, simply because it's a heavier fuel and its flash point is much higher. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to pump up the thing and we will start to preheat. So I'm going to go ahead and pump it, and then we will proceed from there. So at this point I'm going to cut. I'm going to pump it up about 20 or 30 times until the pressure reaches about 2 to 3 kilograms per square centimeter, and then I'll start to film again.